Oh, what's up, boys? Oh. Okay, gotcha, Paul. Gotcha. No worries. I got you in listen mode. I saw the text. No worries. No worries. Seeing who else is coming. I'm going to text Howard. See if he's coming. Let's see. Howard. Max always comes. Oh, I was just about to text you, Max. What's up? Good, man. How about you? Back home now? Next week, so last week at work? Let's go, man. Let's go. How's everything going? How's your week going? Really? Hell yeah, man. Dude, yeah, I honestly have never played it. Like, I really haven't. People love it around here. We have like a association. I forget who. I think I know. I know the person who's like president of like the pickleball association, but I forget who it is. Cool. Let me. Anything program wise I can answer for you. I'm looking at it right now. Looks pretty good. I mean, like again, down another pound from last week. Looks like, or that 2 technically from Saturday. So it looks. Looking good to me. I mean, any questions on your end? No worries. Yeah, no worries. Cool, man. Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna start doing check-ins on Saturday night, so I'll just have like a Saturday and a Sunday check-in, like in the evening. So if you get them in on Saturdays, they'll be done Saturday night, and then if let me. Coach Kearns is in the car, so it's just shutting off. How's it going, Howard? Good. But yeah, Max, I was what was I saying? I was saying, oh yeah, check-in wise, yeah, I'll have a Saturday and a Sunday, and obviously as you know more people come in, maybe I'll move the new people's to Friday or something like that. But I like to keep it on the weekends because that's when people are free. To do this stuff like this, especially the call. I mean, how do you guys like the 10 a.m.? I mean, is 10 a.m. I feel like 10 a.m. is like a good time on Saturday, maybe because if you do 10 a.m. Sunday, the people have church. So I feel like 10 a.m. Saturday is good. I didn't know what your guys' thoughts were on 10 a.m. Saturday. I like it. What are your guys' thoughts? Yeah, because my 9 to 5 like can't do it Monday through Friday. Um, I like the Saturday 10 a.m. because I feel like if you do it in the evening, people doing stuff like, if 10 a.m. is like before you kind of can start your day and you don't have to wake up, which I like. How about you, Howard? Any questions program-wise this week? Yeah. That's so sick. You could always just save some. You could always just if it's is it this weekend? All the way through Wednesday it is. Yeah. Yeah, and I always say like that. That's why I like that protein fasting thing because if you do maybe some chicken breast for lunch and like a really light lunch. I don't know when the events are, but you could always just save all those calories to enjoy some of that beer, to have some of those hot dogs. Maybe just with the hot dogs, do some hot dogs, do some beer, do the mustard instead of like mayo and all the stuff like that, or chili or bacon or whatever it is that you put on them. It's really not bad at all. If you have those calories, it can absolutely just be what you have with instead of something like the ice cream at night, which I really like. Like I've eaten out twice. I ate out we had a really nice restaurant the other day. I went out. Had chicken during the day, and I went out and had a 20-ounce porterhouse. I had wine, and I just had ice cream at my house. And I posted it in the community. And it was a 1,700 calorie meal, and it was just because I saved them, and it just wasn't an issue at all. Instead of dessert or whatever it is, just use it with the hot dogs, use it with the beer, and that's the points I have today is like one of the points on there is like it's if it works for you, that's perfect. So it's like whatever you can do, you're never gonna drink beer, so it's like you have to be able to just make it work with that stuff. You're breaking up a little bit. What was it? 100%. And I always say too, if you don't have to use your willpower at home and you're able to have your house and stuff like that as places where you don't really have to use the willpower, if you go out and you have to use the willpower, then you have it like saved up. You don't have to use it. Like if you're always having to resist, eventually you're going to start to slip. But if at your house, the place you can control the food, you don't need to use the willpower, then when you do have to use it, actually, you have it saved up almost, I say. But other than that, guys, you guys are the call warriors. And I appreciate it. I'm trying to get more people to come to the calls. I need to do something to incentivize. I don't know what I need to do. Maybe like, I don't know. If it's like 24-week program, maybe I'll start saying, hey, you get, I don't even know. If you come to all the calls, you get a free month or something incentivize. Because honestly, it's like it helps with people's like adherence. Because it's like it's the mindset. I wonder where Andrew's at. Andrew's always coming. I need to text Andrew because we got four. I mean, you guys are getting all the value. No, see you on the call. I texted him. They. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good incentive. Yeah. Yeah. I need to. Yeah, and that's what I need to do. Yeah, I'll have to. I need to figure out incentives to come because it's really good. Like I want people to come and learn. It's like you have to. It's like the gym. It's actually a stat. They have at gyms. You can see people's fall off. Like it's like they'll go 7 days a week and then they go 6 and 5 and then it's like 2, 3, 1. They won't go for like 2, 3 weeks and then they cancel. So it's like if they have a system, it's like if you get people to come to the gym or at least get there, the retention is so much higher because they use it. It's like what they're actually using what they want, and I want people to get the full value. But good. I'll definitely see if I can. If you have any ideas, yeah, maybe like some incentive or you have to come to the first 4. I think would be a really good one. And I'm gonna start definitely doing like first month like 1-to-1 Zooms. I think that's gonna be very important. So like Howard, I definitely think a 1-to-1 Zoom, like just me and you, would definitely be a good like first one. I think I programmed in your trainer eyes would be like too good to start doing. That would be good. Is there any questions about just anything in general? Like, do you guys think, this is actually a good question, with my level of like communication out to you, I try to just almost hover sometimes. But I mean, how do you guys like my maybe level of like reaching out to you throughout the week? I mean, are you guys, like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Okay. How about you, Howard? Yeah, yeah. Because in the past, I've tried to text like every day, but people, I mean, people, especially like you guys have a lot of like stuff to do. But I think yeah, like I try to at least once a week, just make sure I reach out, and then if I can do a Wednesday or a Tuesday, then Saturday we have the coaching call and the check-in, so that's guaranteed communication. Um, yeah. Yeah, and I always am like almost like hovering a lot of times too, but I just don't want to like like sometimes some people don't like communication, so I'll at least hover. And sometimes maybe I'll send a text, but I think that's definitely a good thing. I need to make sure. Um, yeah, I think I like that level currently of communication. Is there any questions, any maybe feedback you guys have, and I can get into some of the points that I had. I'm really excited because I'm pretty sure was it you also, Max, that said sleep? And Howard, you want to talk about sleep. So I have a bunch of stuff on sleep. And then I also factor in alcohol because alcohol is so big a lot of times when it comes to sleep as well. But that's going to be the two talks. I have one mindset, a bunch of stuff on sleep, and then some stuff on alcohol. But if you guys have any feedback or anything for me before we get into it at all, anything at all? Nope. Okay, cool. So we'll start it up. So the first, what would you guys want to do? You guys want to start with sleep or alcohol? I mean, what do you guys want to start with? I think mindset would be a good one to end with. I want to end with the mindset, but I want to start with maybe sleep. That cool with you guys? Let's do it. So sleep wise, I was doing some research on sleep because sleep's going to be where most of your recovery, muscle growth, where majority of the systems that you need to lose fat, like your hormones, that's where that stuff is gonna be higher. Testosterone. If sleep goes, testosterone, fat burning, muscle building is gonna go. And a cool stat on sleep that I always come back to is that you're gonna lose weight no matter what if you're in a calorie deficit. But the quality of your sleep, 55% of what that weight consists of, either muscle or fat, and assuming your nutrition is right. If your nutrition's right and you're doing some resistance training, 45% of what weight you lose will be either fat or muscles. Like if you're not working out and your nutrition's terrible, you're going to lose fat and you're going to lose muscle. But if your nutrition's right, you're eating your protein, you have your calorie deficit, and you're doing some resistance training, 45% of the weight that's lost is going to be, you can pretty much be sure that it's going to be fat, in a calorie deficit. But 55% of the weight that you lose in determining what that weight consists of is actually going to come down to your sleep. So just studies, one group was super sleep deprived and one group had great sleep. And with the same calorie deficit, meaning the same lack of energy that the body has, it has to get it from somewhere. The group that was sleep deprived took that energy from muscle mass, and the group that had great sleep took it from fat mass. So 55% of the weight that you do lose, you're going to lose weight either way. And as long as your nutrition and your training's in play, sleep is going to be one of the biggest majority factors in what weight you lose. So if you're not sleeping at all, then you're going to have way more muscle loss and less total fat loss than you would as if you slept every day, right? So the difference between two people's results, they could be in the same the experiment is the same calorie deficit, same training program, same nutrition. But their sleep was what they changed, and it affected 55% of what weight they lost. They lost the same weight, but 55% of that weight in the group that was sleep deprived came from their muscle mass. So that was a crazy stat. I was like, wow, just not sleeping, if everything else is the same, can affect it up to 55%, which that's a cool stat. And another stat to even put it into perspective is if sleep goes, you can be extremely sure that muscle would go, right? As long as, because we're all natural, nobody here is, enhanced, with exogenous supplements. If where you're going to get your muscle growth is your nutrition, but mainly in your sleep. Like most of your muscle growth is going to come in sleep. So an example, nutrition and sleep are the only things that are going to grow muscle, because training doesn't grow your muscle. It stimulates what has to happen to grow muscle, but the things that actually grow your muscle are after. The lifting makes your muscles want to grow, but what happens to actually grow them is when they're not training. A lot of people are like, oh, recovery, I have to do ice baths, I have to do stretching. Recovery itself is not what do I do for recovery, it's what I don't do, which is everything, right? Recovery is the lack of training. It's training, and then the lack of the training is where the muscle rebuilds itself. And the only things that can rebuild that are nutrition and sleep. And if you take either one away, then you're not going to be able to grow that muscle. And you might have some growth because you're not going to not eat, period. But nutrition and sleep are going to be the number one things to actually build up muscle. An example to drive the point home is if you would fast for a day, you would hit a workout, and then you would pull an all-nighter for 2 days and still fast for another 2 days, it would be like virtually impossible for your body to build that muscle, because the only two things that are going to allow it to build muscle, the nutrition and the sleep, you're taking away, because it's to drive the point home that the training itself doesn't build the muscle. It's the training, and then after the training, having the right nutrients, and then having the right recovery, right? The hormones that actually allow your body to use those nutrients and put them inside your muscles to get stronger and repair themselves. It's like body repair. It's the same thing. You get sick, your immune system repairs itself, repairs your body, you get a cut. The same system that repairs that cut to build tissue, like it's the same systems. And if you're not sleeping, your body's not going to prioritize building muscle over functioning to be alive and just do basic things being awake. It's not going to prioritize that. And when you're sleeping, your body allows your body to prioritize that muscle growth, because it knows, right? It's eating, it's sleeping, like it's good, and it can prioritize almost like the luxury areas of which is fitness. Fitness is a luxury area. Like our bodies don't want to lose fat; they want to keep our fat on us. They don't want to build muscle. It's like it doesn't make sense for our body to do that, and it's almost like a luxury mechanism that we have to put in a great scenario to do. And nutrition and sleep are two things that allow our body to put itself in that luxury position of creating a visual difference with muscle mass and low body fat. And if you cut it, so on the other side, by cutting that sleep, okay, you'll notice, and these are reactions, because I don't want to just get into the wishy-washy science, like physically, like what are you going to feel if you're lacking sleep? If you do not sleep, or you don't have a high quality sleep, or you're not sleeping well, you're going to have more cravings, right? Which is indirectly going to affect your fat loss, because you're going to want to eat more. It's going to be harder. You're number one, because you're awake more hours. If you sleep 3 hours versus 8 hours, that's 5 more hours you're awake. You usually eat, if you say you eat 3 meals a day, you're up 16 hours. That's like 6-hour windows between each meal. That's a whole nother window between meals that you have, that you're awake, that you're thinking about food. So just from being awake, you're just thinking about it. So if you sleep 8 hours, then you have 8 hours per day where you're not thinking about food, and getting that extra sleep is going to allow those 16 you are awake to not actually be worried about food too much, because your body's rested and recovered. But we get into cravings. When you have no sleep, your brain runs a lot on glucose. It wants to use carbohydrates as its main source. So they're the easiest for your body to use. And if you are low sleep, your brain wants more. So if you ever don't sleep, a lot of times I'll see this as a trend when I look at people's sleep and their sleep slow. You can see their calories are going to be higher within maybe a day or two, but their carbohydrates are going to be higher, because your body wants more of that. So if you ever don't sleep and you feel like you're eating more, if you look back at your calories, it's probably going to be because you want carbs, because you have those cravings, right? And we don't crave chicken breast usually. We crave, sweet snacks, and that's what we're going to crave more of when we don't sleep. It's almost like it's sleep. No sleep is like a downward spiral to all the areas that make fat loss harder. Having lots of sleep makes all the things to lose fat just easier and build muscle. Just fitness itself. Sleep is a huge catalyst. Because again, it's like you're trying to put your body in a a luxury position. It doesn't make sense for your body to be in great shape. It just wants to just be alive and sit around and gain fat because that's what it wants to do. It doesn't want to change. It's your body wants to stay the same. It doesn't want to change, and that's why it's hard. So again, also when you're lacking sleep, you're going to be tired, and this is just a fact. Like if you're tired, you're not going to want to move as much. You're not going to want to go to the gym when you're tired. You're not going to go want to walk. You're probably, when you're at home, you're going to just sit and chill. So it reduces your movement, which is, again, it's going to increase your cravings, which is going to make it harder to eat less. But it's going to reduce your movement. So it's going to require you to eat less, but it's harder to eat less. So it's like it stacks difficulty when you lower sleep because you're not going to want to move as much. And movement is what's going to create, your body's just natural. I burn this many calories even if I sit all day, but the extra movement, the steps, the any type of workouts, the running, whatever it is you're doing, you're going to do less of that. So even if you're walking, you're actually going to burn less calories if you're super tired because you're going to find ways to walk easier. You're not going to walk faster. You're going to walk super slow. Or when you're at the house, you're not going to go up and get up and move around and clean because you're energized and you just, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and go run errands. Like you're just going to move at totally less when you don't sleep. And then last thing would just be your willpower drops because if you're super tired, you're just like you don't want to have to put mental energy to things, especially if you work. Like if you're already tired and then you have to do work and then you come home, your willpower is just going to drop naturally. So that's where environment can be a huge help in especially if you're tired, because if you have all kinds of junk food at your house and then you're tired and then you're craving food, and again, it layers. Like sleep just layers the difficulty to being in great shape. It just does layer it. So those are, to me, like the things that are going to happen if you don't sleep, the effects, like the different, I guess you could say, not fear tactics, but that's the reality of not sleeping. This is science. So you can look it up. You can look up sleep studies, because these are all, you can look up on PubMed, sleep study ratio, 55%, and look it up and read about it. It's actually pretty cool stuff. But next, I would say, we could talk about what happens if you don't sleep. And it's like, well, how do I sleep, right? So let's talk about, some tips I have for sleep, waking up early, where I actually can put it into action to have better sleep. And again, the call is recorded, so you're welcome to take notes. But the call is going to be in Slack if you want to watch it back, and you can just find, and again, I record them with Fathom, so there's like all these different note takers, so you can find where I talk about the sleep and go to the transcript. So if you don't want to take notes, I would recommend just listening, and then you can go back and just if you understand, you don't need the notes because you're not going to look at the notes and be like, oh, okay, checklist. If you understand the principles, you don't necessarily need the details. But sleep tips. So these are some tips. If you do want to write them down, you can, or you can watch it back. So first sleep tip is if you want to set a good sleep schedule, I recommend, probably waking up a little bit early one day. If you want to set a good sleep schedule, if you can go to sleep early, like I personally try to go to sleep by latest 10 p.m. because it's best to just wake up without an alarm. But again, if you have work and stuff, you're going to need, you can't just rely on your body to wake up. So the best thing you can do is try to get to bed earlier, so when the alarm goes off, sometimes maybe you'll even beat the alarm up. But if you already have not a great sleep schedule, like you're going to bed late, you just know right now your sleep schedule's not great, I always say, hey, you only need to be tired for one day. And then your sleep schedule's fixed. If you can wake up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. one day, maybe it'll be a bad day. Maybe it'll just be a super tired day. But if you can just be tired for one day, maybe on a Sunday or something, then you're going to be tired that night and you'll go to bed early and then you're good. So if you can be tired for one day, you can have a great sleep schedule. That is the first point. The second point is put your alarm or your phone, whatever it is you're going to wake up with, across the room. So I have an Amazon Alexa Echo, not a Dot, but like the screen. And it's the loudest alarm in the entire earth. And I put it to full max, and I don't allow myself to tell Alexa to turn it off. So what happens is it goes off in the morning, and it's insanely loud. I like jump out of bed. I have to run across the room and physically turn it off. So that's super helpful. So like putting it across the room, like you're not gonna, like today, an example is I didn't have my Amazon Alexa on, and my phone was in the room, and I just reached across, the alarm was there, and I reached across and I tapped it, and I ended up, it went off at 5, and I didn't even get up till like 5:45, 6. So just even today, just not having it, me personally, I get up every day super early. I didn't do it. So having it across the room is huge because like you're like already up, and even like a little extra hack is if you have like a 5-hour energy or something, if you really need to be up, have a 5-hour energy sit next to your alarm. So you get up, go over there, like already up, crank it. Even if you go back to bed, you're gonna be up because you drank the 5-hour energy. So that's a hack if you absolutely need to get up and you want to make that a habit or whatever it is. That's just a little tip. Second tip is blackout curtains and earplugs. So I was a fan of the sleep mask, but I started getting like rub on my ears, so it started actually like, I did not like that. So blackout curtains are better, I found, just because you don't need something on your head. But earplugs, so like you go to CVS, I use these when I work too. So like CVS earplugs, I plug them into my ears when I sleep, but I also do it when I work. Even a little work hack right here, if you really get distracted. I live in a house full of other people, so I get really distracted. So I also use bulletproof headphones, like bullet ear headphones combined with the earplugs. So that's another hack, just work-wise, but sleep-wise, earplugs are great because if you have blackout curtains and you have earplugs and it's super dark and you can't hear anything, you're not going to get woken up and you're going to sleep really well. And if you get 8 hours of sleep in a pitch black room with earplugs, and another tip, a cold room, like if it's cold and you have earplugs in, you're going to have a really, really good night of sleep. That's another tip. Another tip, caffeine. I try to stop at about 12 hours before bed. So I like to get to bed by 8, 9, 10, whatever it is. So I'll maybe drink my last cup of coffee at 10:30, 11. Sometimes I don't care. I'll drink a lot more if I really just want to destroy the day. But a lot of times, caffeine's going to stay in you for about 12 hours. So, if you still want to drink coffee, just switch to decaf around 10 or 11. You can still sip coffee all day, but it's decaf. I had a lot of problems drinking a ton of coffee and not drinking coffee past around 10 or whatever. So the first 4 or 5 hours of your day, just get up and get your coffee in, and around 10, cut it off. You'll find that just in the evening, you're just a lot less. You're not going to sit in bed not being able to fall asleep. Because if you're drinking coffee at 3 or 4 p.m., it's going to be in your system till 4 a.m. But even if you go to sleep, it's just going to reduce the quality of your sleep. So yeah, last one, do not be like, try to be completely sober. So if you're going to drink at night or before, like I would just not drink lots of alcohol or be drunk before bed, because that is going to destroy you. It might be easier to fall asleep, but your quality of sleep is going to just be destroyed. And I'll get into that with alcohol. Just going to destroy your sleep. But at the end of the day, if you can function, you can function. I'm not going to sit here and tell you're your own person, but alcohol is going to make, everybody who's ever been hungover, it's just terrible the next day, and it's because your sleep. You might fall asleep fast, you might sleep like a rock, but the quality of that sleep is not great. Sleep hack, in the morning, if you get movement in, it allows you to wake up faster. If you get movement in at the evening, like a stretch or a walk, it is good, especially like the sunset. It's good to like get that routine. If you have a routine that like kind of tells your brain it's time for bed, like a shower, brush your teeth, maybe get a walk, get a stretch in, maybe have a cup of decaf coffee, whatever it is that your nighttime thing is, it's good to have maybe a little routine that's like, hey, this is what happens when it's time to sleep. And you sit in bed, and like last thing too, like I don't ever sit in my phone in bed. If your phone's across the room, but if you sit in bed for an hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is, completely pitch black, and you're already tired, you're gonna be asleep. So not doing like watching TV in bed or being on your phone like that is just a hack, because you're active. You allow yourself to chill. Usually you don't have much time throughout the day to do that, so it actually is good to like just be in your thoughts and fall asleep. Next, okay, yeah. So this is just a hack I've personally learned. If you have like a bad back, or you're always like sore in the morning, if you have like a nice thick carpet, trying like a day or two sometimes to sleep on the floor on your back was helpful for me when I had like some back, like just from lifting all the time. my back when football was bad, so I would sleep on the ground. And it was actually good because you can't sleep on your side on the floor because it hurts your shoulder. So it forces you to lay on your back in that floor. Just you wake up and you feel great because your back was flat all night. And because I sleep on my side, so if you always sleep on your side and it hurts your back because you're always in one direction or your hips are messed up or whatever, sleeping on your back on the ground for like a night. If you have carpet, it's honestly not as bad as you might think. Actually, to me, I sleep really good if I do that. So that's a tip. So that is kind of 1 to 2 nights before sleeping on your back. Steps are great in the morning if you can wake up and get 3 to 5 caffeine, especially if you can maybe wake up and get those steps in before you drink your coffee. Like that's a great way to really start the day and not be tired or sluggish. No alcohol. Yeah, those are some good tips and just my personal sleep habits that have served me very well. And again, the last hack is like, hey, if you're trying to wake up every day at 5, having a day or two where like maybe it's a Saturday or a Sunday where you do let yourself sleep until you wake up can be helpful to have, especially if you do not get good sleep constantly. Allowing yourself that wake up on your own, especially if you can get that routine of going to bed real early. Waking up on your own, you're going to feel great with. But the best I feel is when I wake up early with an alarm, but I've slept 8 hours. That's where I find I'm the best. I'm up in the morning, I've slept 8 hours, and I got that alarm, and I'm up now, and I'm not tired at all. That's the times that I'm found best. A lot of times I find if I wake up on my own, then you almost lose urgency to wake up because you're like, I'm good. You almost like you cancel the morning. But if you get up, you're like, okay, bang, I'm in the routine. But I'm awake for the routine. I'm excited. I'm energized. Any questions about those sleep tips or anything that I've spoken about so far? Yeah. Little hack I've learned, if you have employees, like I meet with my employees now at 6 in the morning. So that's a hack. It's like, I'm getting up. I don't know if you have employees. I know Howard, but I mean, you guys start work later. So for me, like if you have something there that forces you to get up, that's good too. Like if you schedule something or say, hey, I'm gonna text you at whatever. Yeah, like kind of like you were saying, Max. Same here. I find that having something is there. But any questions at all? Anything else, Howard? I know Coach Kearns, you are in listen mode. Howard, do you have any questions about that? Yeah, completely. All right. Well, I'm going to transition into alcohol, and then we will end with just a mindset tip that I like a lot that I've noticed with fitness, actually. Okay, so alcohol. To even preface, I'm not against alcohol. I drank the other day. I had some wine. I'm not a big drinker. I don't think it adds too much to my life. But I'm not against it at all. If you can, I'm not, a lot of people say alcohol is this, that, and that. If you know that, that's the tip. If you understand the trade-offs and you're fine with them, it's your personal prerogative. I'm not against it at all. I personally I'm so into fitness. I'm like, hey, I understand the trade-offs, and I don't want to make them a lot of times for me, personally, because I like to work out every day pretty much. I don't like to, be hungover necessarily. But I'm not against it. So that's kind of like the preface. So alcohol, again, the reason I'm giving these tips is not to fearmonger or say you're bad for drinking alcohol. These are just information, studies, tips I've noticed on alcohol. And if you drink alcohol, I also drink alcohol. So it's not a big deal at all. These are just kind of just like the sleep thing. Not a big deal. Okay, so alcohol does inhibit sleep, and the reason so alcohol is like a triple whammy when it comes to fitness. So it indirectly and directly inhibits muscle growth and fat loss. So alcohol indirectly inhibits muscle growth and fat loss via sleep. Just like and that's why it was after sleep, because if you look at all the negative effects of low sleep, alcohol decreases the quality of that sleep. So when you hear about sleep, there's like the early sleep, the mid sleep, and then you get to that deep level sleep. Alcohol, you never get deep sleep. You never get that full, deep, restorative recovery sleep where you do, release those hormones, release that testosterone, release that growth hormone, build that muscle, and give your body that luxury area of, wow, I'm in that recovery zone. You never get it there with alcohol, and that's how it indirectly affects your sleep, because it increases the cravings, it lowers your your non-exercise activity. You're gonna have, because of that low sleep, you're gonna lose more muscle. Less percentage of the weight you lose is gonna be fat, and that's how it will indirectly affect body composition and fitness and in your life, because it indirectly affects it via the sleep, and that's one of the worst disruptors of sleep is alcohol, more so than a lot. So even if you do all those little tips and do all those great things, if your sleep quality is poor, you're still gonna have some of those negative effects. And a lot of times you will see people say, I sleep great when I drink. You do sleep hard, but the quality of that sleep, I think I mentioned earlier, is greatly diminished. So it also hurts it directly. So alcohol inhibits muscle growth and fat loss directly. Why? Because alcohol itself is a poison. It's a toxin. Like it has toxic effects. It produces those side effects. Your body, wants to get rid of it. That's why we have our liver, our kidneys. We need to filter it out, because it's not, our body does not want it. We need our liver to filter out alcohol. That's why it affects your liver over time, because it is a toxin. So because of that, our body wants to rid it. So our body, before it will burn fat, will get rid of the alcohol. And that's why if you're drunk before you go to sleep, when your body should be recovering, building muscle, it's going to indirectly affect it via sleep. It directly is going to try to get rid of the alcohol. While you're drinking, it wants to burn the alcohol. It wants to get rid of the alcohol first. And it's going to do that, meaning it is going to stop burning fat, it's going to stop building muscle, and it's going to put its energies towards, hey, getting rid of these toxins is a higher priority than burning this luxury fat or building this muscle that doesn't make sense for me metabolically to build, over ridding us of the toxins. So it's like, whatever it is your to-do list, it puts get rid of alcohol at the top of the to-do list. And that's why it directly affects fat loss. And again, it is going to directly affect muscle growth for the same reason, where your body's not going to say, I need to build this muscle before I get rid of these toxins in my body. And that's how it directly affects. It needs to burn through the fat, the alcohol calories, but it also wants to rid your body of the alcohol before it's going to prioritize fat loss or muscle growth. And then if you layer that on top of being, drunk at night, then you're going to have the indirect effects of poor quality sleep layered on top of the direct effects of your body not wanting to do those things. So there's a double layer whammy with that. And then I will say it'll hurt fat loss directly by making it harder to adhere to a calorie deficit because of the calories a lot of times in alcohol. So it's one of the purest forms of empty calories, not just from it's like drinking a soda, or it's like, yes, it's the empty calories, but farther than the empty calories, it is going to directly and indirectly affect your ability to lose fat and build muscle, on top of affecting your ability to be in a calorie deficit. So it is kind of a triple whammy in terms of your macros, in terms of actual processes of building fat or building muscle, and actual processes of losing fat. It's gonna be a triple whammy. So that alcohol is one of the, probably, if your goal is to maximize your fat loss, maximize your muscle growth, like if you're a athlete or competitive bodybuilder, one of the worst things you could probably do is drink a lot. But again, it's not to say you can't perform. Look at someone like Rob Gronkowski, or look at an amazing athlete, or look, there's people that perform at a super high level, and that's why, yeah, you can sit here and say, oh, it's so bad, but like I say, in the last point of this is I can talk about the negative effects, but I always say, hey, what are the best times for alcohol? Because it is something that, if you're going to have in your life, it's really, it's for me, if you're like, I'm not going to stop drinking forever, I'm like, okay, and I get that. So I'm never going to sit here and say you have to stop drinking. It's like, hey, the first thing is if you understand the trade-offs and you're willing to make them, cool. If it brings you more enjoyment than it does negativity from the trade-offs, then I say, by all means, if you want to have a drink and that's what you want to do, I'm no qualms at all about it. It's just like, hey, if you understand the trade-offs, cool. Secondly is I say 2x2 rule. So if you want, a good rule is, hey, I'll have 2 drinks 2 nights a week. Maybe a little hack is if you're doing the 2 days a week training or 3 days a week, or you're working out 4 days a week, whatever it is you're working out, pair going out to eat with the workout days, because if you're getting your steps in, you're going to burn X amount of calories. But if you have your workout days, you're going to get 200, 300 more calories maybe some of those days. Use those as the days you go drink, because you have those extra calories, you can use them, and you can go out to eat, probably stay on your diet with going out to eat, meat, vegetables, cleaner foods. Use those extra calories, have a glass of wine or a beer, whatever it is that you want at dinner. And that's a rule. It's like 2x2 rule. 2 days a week. If you want to pair it with the workout days, is a great little hack. But 2 drinks, 2 nights a week, and that is like a good rule that I've found. I personally just don't drink. I've only been able to drink for 5 days. So I personally, being in college, I've only been able to drink 5 days. So that's it. The 2 nights that I went, I've only drank 5 days of my life. Anyway. Maintenance wise, so I always say a good time to do it is if you're maintenance. Like if alcohol is an inhibitor for your goals, then you can say, hey, well, just until I hit X goal, or I hit this goal, or I hit my next goal, I'm just gonna not drink. Or if you drink a lot, say, hey, I'm just gonna go 2x2 rule until I hit my goals, or I'm not gonna drink until I hit my goals. And then once you go to maintenance, just with that last rule, if you're working out twice a week and you got the extra calories twice a week, once you hit your goal, you're going to have 500 calories extra, probably 600 calories extra per day. So when you hit your goal, you're going to have 600 extra calories per day. And then on those other 2 days, you're going to have 300 calories those 2 days that you work out. So some of those days, you're going to have 900 extra calories. Well, boom, there's 2 drinks and maybe a dessert, or maybe an extra side of something, or whatever it is. And if your protein stays the same, then that puts 600, 700 calories in that meal, that last meal, if you do the protein fasting. So that's just a little tip as well. It's like, hey, just because drinking is not going to be great for progress, when I'm achieved progress, me personally, I don't need to gain that much more muscle, because it's like what I need to do to gain that muscle is like pretty much stop other areas of my life to put that focus into, because I'm advanced in that area. So for me, I'm in a maintenance phase just until, for now, period, because I just don't think I need to gain that much more muscle. I think I'm happy with the way I look. So maintenance-wise, if you're someone like me, I have a lot of room to play with. The most I'm going to maybe need to lose ever is another pound or two if I really want to get super cut up and lean. But until further notice, I'm not really focused on improving the way that I look, because I've achieved the body that I do want. So at that point, I can be a lot more flexible. I have maybe a pound or two of room to mess with. So if it's a week, and I know I can be in a deficit, 500 calories, if it's Saturday night and I'm maintenance and I want to have a 4,000 calorie meal, I can. And I just know next week I'll just be in a deficit and I'll be back to exactly where I want. So once you're at maintenance, not even just alcohol, but in general, it's so easy. But if you're making progress, the reason it's hard to do that in progress is because you're going to undo progress, and then you're going to spend a week getting back to where you were before. So it's like I always say, get to maintenance, get to happy mode, and then be flexible. But I always say, I'm always advocate of, hey, doing what you need to do to get your goals. So removing anything that's not your goals is a great way to do that, because like the only thing you have to do is hit your goals. So when you hit your goals, then you can chill, because the things that get you to your goals are not the things that maintain your goals. Maintaining a physique is a lot less hard than building one. it's like pushing a ball up a hill and then just like not letting it fall down is two different things, or getting to the top of a hill and then just rolling it on flat ground. It's the same way. You have to push the boulder up the hill, but then you can just roll it on the flat. I mean, you like push it here and there, let it roll, push it here and there, let it roll. Like that's once you're happy with the way you look, you don't need a ton of hard, stuff every day. It's just it's maintenance. Like mowing a lawn. It's like you do it every so often. Anyway, so gotcha. Yeah, and that's the last point again is if you want to drink alcohol, you want to stay up all night. I've done both. I've I've drank too much. I've stayed up and pulled multiple all-nighters in a row, just working. Like I said, I understand the trade-offs. I'm willing to make the trade. I'm willing to make the trade. If staying up late and having drinks with people, like you said in your situation, Howard, people you've not seen, if it's once or twice a year, it's not a big deal. It's not it's like you have the rest of your life. Like it's not going to be the end of the world. I just always say, if you understand the numbers and you can just be super logical about it, like, yeah, okay, I understand the trade-offs. I get it. It's not helping me at all. It's not helping me. It's actually negatively impacting my goals. Okay, I get it. I understand it. I know it's going to affect how I feel tomorrow. I understand the trade-off, and I'm going to make the trade-off, and I'm going to deal with it tomorrow, and I get it. Like that, if you understand it, cool. Like you're just making a logical decision. Like, yep, the enjoyment I'm going to get tonight is going to be worth the shit that I feel tomorrow. Cool, and I'm going to deal with it. So if you're willing to make the trade-offs, I literally. Hello? Who joined? Did iPhone join? Max, Paul, Howard? Who just joined? Is that you, Abby? Maybe. I'm going to mute you, Abby. I'm going to send you a text. I'm going to say, did you join? Awesome. Anyway, was there any questions about that, about any of that? I mean, is there any to make sense? Cool. How you feel, Max? Do you have any questions about any of that? Completely, and that's kind of where I'm at. Even me personally, I just like, hey, if I know the goals that I want, it's like at this point in my life, I'm like, hey, I don't think alcohol necessarily gives me progress. I don't think it ever will give you progress. Maybe unless it's like, I can't even think of a situation where it's going to help you in certain areas. I don't know, but for some people, having that allows them to not go crazy. So if that's your thing, that's your thing. But I completely agree with you. What's up, Abby? Are you here, Abby? What's up? Oh, cool. Yeah, man. How long have you been here? I didn't even notice. Cool. Yeah. And I'll put them in Slack. You're in Slack, Abby. I'll put them in that Slack, in that group chat. But yeah, that's pretty much the talk. Oh, last piece of the talk. This is my mindset. Okay, cool. Yes, this is cool. So I made a post about to say is goals versus standards. So this is a cool thing. So it was like goals are different than standards because goals mean that you have not yet achieved a standard, and a standard is a low point. So if I say my standard is this, it means that anything lower than that standard is intolerable. So if I say my standard is to even me personally, if my standard, is 10% body fat, and that's why I'm a fan of always pushing to get down to like a certain level of body fat or to hit a certain goal, because once you've achieved that, if you've never been in shape before, or the best you've ever been in shape, a lot of times when I talk to people, they're like, I want to get back to this, because they're like, they remember the best shape they've been in and they want to achieve, because that's their standard. That's the standard they have for their ability, because it's the best they've been. But a lot of times if we think of things like a goal is something we're working towards that usually implies we've never been. And once we achieve a goal, usually that becomes our standard. So to me, a standard is a result of a hit goal, and a goal implies that that is something we are not yet at, or something we're pushing towards. So for me, the words that describe a goal versus standard, which are a good way to describe, you can make a goal a standard. If you make the goal the standard, then the goal becomes hit automatically. And that's why mentally the words that you would use to describe is a goal. You would describe that goal as I want to get here, I'd like to, I wanna in the future. But a standard is say I will accept nothing less than. So it's like I wanna versus I'll accept nothing less than are a lot different, because when you say I will accept nothing less, it implies the actions are going to be taken. I wanna implies I'm going to maybe hopefully get there, but I will accept nothing less implies that I'm going to take the actions required, because anything less than achieving this outcome is intolerable for me, and I will not be able to accept that. And it forces you to mentally say, okay, when I'm not going to accept anything less, you mentally you're like, well, okay, what is I know what my day is going to look like. Because if I'm not willing to accept it, usually we understand the actions needed to lose the weight, or to get in shape, or whatever it is with your work. I'm going to do X amount of dials or calls, or blah, 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 blah. I'm going to post on, for me, posting stuff. Or I accept nothing less than making a post every day. I accept nothing less than 10% body fat. It just implies the commitment that you have to that, and it almost cements it into where you're at. So for me now, I will not accept, where I used to be body fat wise. That's intolerable, completely intolerable for me. I'll not accept anything less than having a six pack and looking great, because that's just my standard. That's the standard that I have. And usually they'll apply to different areas. Like if your standard is all the way awesome in one regard, usually it'll carry over. And it's carried over to me with coaching people. It's like my standard for myself carries over to help people raise their standards. And that is a good mental hack that for me, it's like when you think of a standard versus a goal, when you think of I want to do this, it doesn't hit as hard as I will accept nothing less than this, and this is my complete minimum bottom. My minimum is this goal. And it's like, well, that just it sets up a system. You have to have a system to maintain a standard, because a goal implies you have to figure it out to just hit the goal. And then once you've hit the goal, it implies it's almost like you hit it and you go back down. But a standard is a baseline, right? A goal is a climb, and a standard is a baseline. So we just elevate. It's like a goal to hit this goal is like on and off. It's like if you zoom in on the goals, that was last week's. If you zoom in on the goals, they're jagged. But to maintain a standard, you must never drop below. It's like, so the jaggedness is just this way. You have to just maintain it. So what do you have to maintain? And that's, to me, I guess a core driver in the way that I structure my programs is the steps and the calories and the protein allow you to maintain a standard, because it allows you to never drop below, because the baseline, it's not like, a 12-week program, which I have messed with. 12 weeks, this week, that week. I really like the 6 months, make it something you can do forever, because it allows you to integrate a standard. It allows you to have a standard. It's like, okay, my standard is 10K steps, twice a week lifting, and tracking my food. That's a standard you can maintain, and that to me is like I'll accept nothing less than that. To me, that's a doable standard. But it's to me, P90X or boot camp or whatever it is that you're going to do it can't be a standard, because it's not maintainable long term. And to have a standard, it has to have a system. And a program's not a system. And to me, if you want to have a standard, that's why I have a system in place that allows you to have a standard, as opposed to a program to achieve a goal. I want a standard to improve your standards. I want a system to improve the standards, not a program to improve the goal. And that is why I do things the way that I do them, because I want you guys to improve your standards, which means you have to have a baseline that will never drop below and improve, what the minimum is that you're willing to do. It's like, I'll accept nothing less than. Because if you have a system that allows an outcome, you're able to say, hey, this is my new standard. That's a super good mental hack for me. It's like, this is my standard. Any questions on that? What do you guys think on that? Cool. How about you, Howard? What do you think? Good. How about you, Abby? 100%, and that's why a lot of times, like, I'm almost anti when you see guys like not anti David Goggins, but like when you see that, like, to me, when I think of that, for him, that is maintainable for him. That guy's nuts. But when I see stuff like that, a lot of times to me, it's like, if you have a standard, it's a lot more chill than like 75 hard or David Goggins or all this crazy grind stuff, because it just almost implies that it's like, to me, it's just like what you do every day is not that exciting. If you have a system that just allows you to do the same thing, it's usually not going to be super exciting and motivating and implies like grind mode. It's just like, hey, this is just what I do every day, which is not that exciting, but it's like the stuff you do every day, it's not that exciting. It's usually what gets you the outcome that is exciting. The outcome's exciting, not the inputs to create the outcome. But yeah. Is there any questions in general? So that was sleep, that was some alcohol stuff, that was goals versus standards. Is there any questions anybody has? Fitness, nutrition, anything in general at all? Anything? Nope. If not, no worries. Abby, do you have any questions about anything, man? Yeah. 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 And if to you, like, again, if you're someone, like, for me personally, I am someone that's like, I'm all in. So sometimes being all in, especially with some alcohol, is it can definitely be a yeah. Yeah. Completely, man. Yeah, I like that perspective. Yeah, and I always say too, if rest and alcohol or whatever is allows you to go for harder, then it is productive. Technically, if rest allows you to do more, then it is productive. And if you just different strokes for different folks. And I have no qualms about anything if you do choose to drink. But I'm always like, hey, yeah, there's trade-offs with everything in life, and if you understand them, you're good. But yeah, that was a good call. if anybody has no more questions, that's about an hour. I got check-ins. Again, check-ins we have. If anybody wants to message the Slack and say, hey, man, everyone come to the call. It's great. That would be appreciated. And again, posting in the Slack is, I like posting. I like the meals. So if you guys post your meals or post yourselves hitting the gym, I like that a lot. I think maybe that could kickstart some other people coming to the calls, because I really want people to get out of their comfort zone and just engage. And it's helpful, because it's like it's like a football team or whatever. If you're all on the same team, everyone's pushing towards a common goal. We have our own goals, but I think seeing other people also go through the exact same things. Me personally, again, like the same things you guys struggle with: eating, overeating, being tempted to drink, tempted to have something to dessert, being hungry, not wanting to work out, not wanting to get my steps in, having work to do, and not wanting to, like, the same things, you guys struggle with. I literally struggle with the exact same things, and our clients struggle with the exact same things. And it's like, we all struggle with the same stuff. We all want the same things. That's the crazy part, is we all struggle with the same things, and we all want the same things. Not saying we all want the exact same things, but we all want to be happy, healthy, fit, successful. And, we all want that. But it's like, hey, whether we want it or not, like, we all can want it. But it's like, hey, how are we going to mentally be able to be the person to go get it? And that's what I'm learning more and more and more, just coaching and being with people, is it's not about the program. It's about, how do you become the person that sticks with the program? How do you become the person that actually achieves the goals? Because I have the same goals as someone who is not in shape. I have the same goals as somebody who, is not successful maybe. But it's like, to me, it's like our goals do not make us unique. It's how do we have to become the person to achieve those goals? And that's what creates that uniqueness. And that's why the goals themselves are valuable, because it's not the goal, it's achieving the goal. And what the real prize is who you have to become to hit the goals a lot of the times. Like, your standards. You raise your standard, and you've become and elevated your standards to hit those goals. But yeah, I would really love if you guys would post in the Slack, post in the community, post in the chat. I try to post a lot. I'm making reminders to myself to always post just my daily life, because that's all this is, man. It's because it's all just daily life, fit lifestyle. Just always our goals are just accumulation of what we did today. And then if you guys can share what helps for you, because maybe you guys have something that works for you that I haven't thought of. Sometimes I'll get inspiration from client stuff, because it's just about it. I'm not saying it's all tips and tricks, but it's like, we all know what to do. A lot of times people might know at a base level what to do before they get a coach or work with somebody. But like, even we talked about, Abby, it was like, you might even know the stuff, but just being able to apply it and put it in a way that fits your life, that you save the time of not having to fail, but you also save the mental effort of knowing it's the right thing and not having to second guess yourself. Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah, and I was always say, like, you're in Slack. It says you're in Slack. Yeah, and if you put it on like the front page of your phone, tip is, if you take your trainer eyes, your Slack, whatever it is we communicate with, if you throw it on the front page and you put it in a little group, that's helpful to just have it all in one place, I've found. What's up, Max? Yeah, so you're in Slack, right? Right, Max? So what I've been doing is just inside check-in link channel is literally just where the form's at. So what I've been doing, that way it's always there and I don't have to like forget or send it out. Like the form's always there, and on my end, I just clear the responses every week when everyone's done. And I also have in Slack, I have the coaching call Zoom link in check-in links, and I also have the school calendar link where you can add the coaching calls to your Google Calendar, which is helpful. Yeah, man. And if you're good to go, Max, you have no questions, man. That's all kind of I have for the call. If you have any more questions for me, man? Yeah, man. Let's get them going in the Slack. So guys, you guys got to come. You guys can add everyone if you want. I don't care, in the main chat. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, Max. And dude, have an awesome day today, man. Dude. Abby, man, how you tell me, Coach Kearns, if you're good, that's all I got. I know you're in listen mode, but you're welcome to bounce out of here. If everything's good, I know you're with the fam. So you're welcome to bounce out of here, Coach Kearns. If you have anything, you're welcome to hop on and say bye. But out of town, no worries. But yeah. Abby, though, what's up, man? How are you doing, man? Is everything? I mean, I didn't know. I knew you texted me early, man. I hope you're prayers for you, man. What is? Are you good? Yeah, man, totally. And I always say sometimes too, like having maybe something to do to just at least not sit and have your mind on it sometimes is helpful. And that's to me, a lot of times with the gym has been helpful for me, and just work or whatever it is, having something to do is really helpful for me personally. I don't know if you're the same way, but. Wow. Yeah, completely. Yeah, and like I had said, man, if there is anything like, because life is just perspective. It's just how we view things. So if you do need anything like, I don't know, advice or whatever it is, man, sometimes it's just good to have somebody to talk to. So like I said, if you do need anything, man, like that's why I wanted you to come to this call today, man. 'I'm glad you came. But yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if a lot of times I don't know if you use like a calendar, Google Calendar. Google Calendar is great. Apple Calendar. I don't know if you like a laptop or whatever, but yeah, having a Google Calendar is like honestly life changing for me. But you can add it if you go to the school app. You can use that Zoom link and add it to your calendar via school. So you always have it. You can put it in your calendar. The link will be right there on your calendar, and you can join up, man, every week. Yeah, it's great. And I really like the calls. Like the calls are something I was low-key nervous about for a while because it's like you have to speak and talk and present, but they've been my favorite thing at this point now that I've done so far. For me, mentally, they're great to just really get my thoughts and my points and be able to drive points home and solidify my views on fitness and validate them through you guys to make sure it's working. So. Completely, yeah. And just 100%, man. 100%. Yeah, it's like we all struggle with the same things, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate you hopping on. Is there any questions you have for me about anything, man? Oh, so my brother got it. Let me look up Ninja Creamy. So he got it. I don't know. The Vitamix is good as a blender. Yeah, the creamy is just meant for ice cream. I think for just the ice cream, the same thing I do. I have like the soft serve one, like the one my brother got. So it's like I think it's like 150 for the hot ice cream maker, but I think that's not insane. You can get it at Walmart for 160. And it gives you two things. You can make 2 pints of ice cream. Shoot, I mean, 10 days of whatever it is, if you buy 10 pints of Halo Top ice cream or 10 pints of ice cream, if you buy the Ninja Creamy, it saves itself back probably in 2 months. Yeah, and I make it with like, yeah, let me show you. Like this is what I made today. Yesterday it was like just strawberries and Greek yogurt, dude, like 200 calories. This is the one I posted, like coconut, and I literally just put them in here, and they're ready to go. These were so good. Yeah, I can. Yeah, dude, and it's like each one of those pints, if you use Greek yogurt, Fairlife milk, fruit, I mean, and Splenda, dude, it's like 200 calories a pint. So you could have 3 pints of this ice cream, man, for even the healthier ice creams, like even like the 400 calorie ice creams, like they don't necessarily fill you up that much. They're just so good, and you can eat maybe 2 or 3 of them. But these Greek yogurt, I mean, they're not just like lower calorie ice cream. They're Greek yogurt. They're actually like sometimes I'm getting 80 grams of protein in it. And for you, fruit as with the pea protein or whatever protein you have, if you're open to the Greek yogurt or whey protein, that could be super for you. Every night you could get 100 grams of your protein in just with ice cream, like craziness. Super good. Yeah. Well, and Abby, you could always just do frozen fruit and coconut and almond milk. Like that would do a vegan protein drink pre-made, vanilla, dump it in, just frozen fruit, and then you freeze that, like the whole thing. Dude, makes it sick. Yeah, man. Awesome, man. Well, I like sitting on here and chatting, man. I'll tell you what, man. I actually record myself like talking, and it gives me some good clips. I haven't clipped any of them yet, but I love it. Being able to chat and talk. But dude, yeah. If there's no other questions, man, I appreciate you getting on here. And dude, again, let me know if you need anything. Okay. Hey, you too, man. I'll see you.